Mm.
Okay, are we starting? Yeah.
Okay, 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Okay, so let me just do a check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. This is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box, and thanks so much for being here. And today, I have the privilege of a guest and her daughter as well. And these are two people who I look up to, even though one of them is really very young, much younger than me. I'm still young as well. Yeah. And the mommy is actually the principal lecturer from School of Chemicals and Life Sciences. And of course, her name is Magesh. And along with her is her lovely daughter, very confident child, and her name is Harini. Hello, mommy and daughter.
Hi,
Hello.
John. Hi, Coach John. How are you?
How am I in what areas? Yes, I'm fine. Yeah, in all areas.
That's
Yes,
good. That's
mommy,
good. That's
thanks so
good.
much for being here because you're
Most
the
welcome.
second mother and child coming here to be interviewed as in to share your parenting journey. Okay, so before we start to hear from you, could you share with us how some backstory of how you ended up in as a lecturer in the School of Chemical Sciences?
Oh, okay. So, I after graduating, I worked in a pharmaceutical industry. 8 to 5 job, but a lot of traveling required. So at one point of time when she was born, it was difficult when it was traveling like 3/4 of the year. There was quite a bit of traveling around Southeast Asia and Asia. La. So when she was about 1 year old, I decided that I will leave and I will be more home based. So I decided to take up a part-time job. And that was in 2004, 2004. So 2004, that's a long time back. La. So at that time, and from there, I never turned back. So I felt that teaching was actually, I should have just done that in the beginning. I felt it was good because it's nice to meet different kids from different backgrounds and influence them. And even now, I have students that I've taught who come up to me. I don't recognize them. A lot of them are much older, have their own families, and it's nice that we have played a small role. I'm sure as a teacher, you can also, you feel the same way, you can relate that when they come up and tell you, I decided to pursue my degree in this field because of your influence. It feels really good that you can be a small part of what they have become, So I still teach part-time, but I teach a lot more hours compared to when she was younger. Like when she was younger, I wanted to split my time between teaching and taking care of her, bringing her for our classes. So it was a good balance. So now I have more time because she's older. So I have more time, so I can dedicate more time to my students.
Yes. Well, this is a very big change in your life back in
Absolutely.
2004.
From sales, I was doing marketing and sales of pharmaceutical products. And it was a great job when you're a single. It's nice. I traveled a lot. I went to literally all the countries in the world on business class, and all those things. But after a while, family becomes more important, out of 30 days, I'm out of the country. 22 days was getting a bit ridiculous. So I told myself that I wanted a change, and I really I enjoy teaching very much. It's the same thing like in sales you talk, and in teaching you also talk, right? So it's kind of the same thing.
Yes, and I just also want to dig a bit more. Actually,
Yes.
what helped you to make the change? And because and I believe that there are many parents out here who has different parenting journey when they were young. Yeah,
Yes.
so a lot of times some of us could have been impacted by our own parents. So how was it like for you when you were younger, and whether how this has impacted you
Yes.
to be the
As
kind
a
of parents
parent.
that you want to be?
Yeah. Okay. So my parents, my dad particularly has brought me up, very confidently. I think my dad compared to my mom, they were very good mix lah. They complement each other in the way they brought us up. I think particularly my dad, for him it doesn't matter, we are born in the 70s, right? So for him, it's education is everything. You need to be armed with a good education, whether you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. You need education is everything, and being confident. So small things like repairing things in the house, being able to use a screwdriver, a hammer, a drill, everything. He taught me and my sister how to use these things. He said you have to be independent. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. It was that sort of upbringing And I give you some small examples. Like we go to a restaurant, and I'd probably be like 7 or 8 years old, and he would tell me, okay, you take everyone's order and you tell the waitress what we
Wow.
want. Yeah. So it was very scary because, at 7 years old, you're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? And
7 years
things,
old.
yeah, seven. So he would remember the fact that, we need to be much more confident in the way we interact with people. And okay, other things would be like, okay, airlines. Okay, so we would travel, and he would tell me, okay, go to the check-in counter, check in yourself. He would stand a couple of meters away. This was 10 years old. I think we were going to Penang. And he would say, okay, you check in. And then I'll be turning around and looking at him like scarily. He said, go and do it. And other things like, I don't know whether you remember, we used to have the yellow pages when we were younger, yellow pages. So he would say, okay, today we are going for a special dinner because it's mommy's birthday. Okay, you call the restaurant, you find the number, you call the restaurant, you make a reservation. So now I'm like, what? You mean I need to talk on the phone? Like, yeah, that's how you make a reservation. So these are the small things, although I probably made lots of mistakes and stumbling blocks along the way, but it had taught me how to become a very confident person on the phone, like talking on the phone or even face to face. So for him, it's okay to make a mistake, but you learn from it. And he would never interfere or save me from it. He'll just keep quiet.
Wonderful.
Figure it out yourself.
Yes.
And which is really good. Which is where you can see that's where I got my parenting style from, that sort of confidence, everything. And I think last time it was harder. Now we can hide behind a computer. Last time we can't. Everything is face to face, right?
Yes.
So it was actually harder. And at 19, before my 19th birthday, I went to the US to study. And even then, my dad, he asked me to book my own air ticket, asked me to do my own visa forms. And last time there was no internet. It's all fax back, everything. I did it myself. He said, if you need help, you come and ask me. You're going to take a lot longer to do it compared to him if he did it, but I want you to learn how to do it. So I think you can see lah. So I have mirrored that entire parenting journey with my own child,
Yes, and it sounds like there's a lot of freedom for you to do your own things, even though sometimes it may scare you.
Absolutely, yes.
And I would like to hear from Harini, how was your parenting? No, it's not your parenting. How was your growing up years like with mommy around?
For me, it was not really like different.
Okay, I will need you to come close.
A bit closer, yeah.
Yes, because I can't hear you, yeah.
For me, it was a bit different because like I grew up with my mom, and then also I had like my auntie around, my helper. So she was also like a very big impact because like she was there literally 24/7 with me, beside me. Anything I needed, she's there. So in terms like of independence, I did it myself, but people expected me to like come out later because I always had the assistance of my helper. But I could travel on the bus by myself by the time I was 9. And I took the bus by myself and my friends, and my mom was like, whatever, just do it yourself. She gave me a Nokia phone and she told me, you figured it out. And it was nearby, so it was okay. So sometimes I could walk back home also. So it's not that far that I chose a school which was nearby. And when I transferred school to Paya Lebar, then I learned how to take Grab, because like sometimes I come back super late from school. Then I also learned like the new bus routes and stuff instead of the ones in my area only. So in terms of that, like she gave basically that phone with me was like basically my independence, because like I just needed that, and anything I just call her or call my father, then I can ask them for help. So my helper on the other hand, she was very worried. Every time she asked me, oh, what time are you coming back? What time this, what time that? Even my own mom doesn't ask me that. She's like, whatever time come back, come back. Like,
yeah.
A good one.
Like,
see, this is the whole problem with having a helper, right? So sometimes they become, this helper we had, she was really very good, but slowly we had to teach her that you need to teach her how to be. But a big part of bringing her up was big thanks to the helper, that she gave her the independence that she had to do things herself, like pack her own bag. So we had to tell her that, it's okay if the child does it, it will take twice as long, but it's all right. Let her take twice as long, but let her figure it out, you know.
Yes.
So it was good that the helper, instead of doing it for her, taught her how to do it.
Yeah.
So Harini can actually cook. She probably can go off now and, you know, take care of herself. She can cook, she
Yeah.
can clean, she can pack her own bag. At the age of 16, 17, she could, even at the age of 14, 15, she could do it. And thanks to the
Yeah.
helper who has taught her. So the problem with Singaporeans is that because when we have helpers, the helpers do everything for the child becomes completely dependent.
Like, especially when I was traveling, like I traveled by myself when I was, I think, 10.
Yeah, Hong Kong.
I went, not Hong Kong.
for
I
the-
went to Hong Kong with my school, then I went to Malaysia to
Ah,
visit my grandparents.
Parents, yeah.
So
Okay.
on the plane, I remember this lady, she said, "Oh, you're so confident and so brave to, at 10 years old, to travel by yourself." So in my head, I was like, okay, it's normal for me because I've been traveling my entire life. I've been traveling since I was like,
Yeah, but
few months old.
our heart was beating until she
Yeah.
reached KL. You know?
For me, it was like, okay, whatever. I was sleeping on the plane. It didn't really impact me.
It doesn't seem to impact a small child, but the parent, for us, we don't want to show our fear to them, but at the same time we want to give them the independence. So the most scared people were me and my mom-in-law, who was waiting in
Yeah.
Malaysia in the small airport, the smallest Subang airport, not the big airport, in the Subang airport. So the minute she came, my mom-in-law straight away called me and said she's here. So the only two very worried people were me and my mom-in-law. So the ladies lah. But we try not to show our fear because, you know, we want, at the same time, we are moms, you know, we also want to make sure that our fear doesn't impact them and doesn't make them scared, you see?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it helps when, and also she's right, at 10 years old, she had gone to KL to visit them. She took that small
The
Firefly aeroplane.
Yeah.
Ah.
And actually
Malaysian Airlines, that time Firefly,
because
not wrong. Yeah.
then they also had me upgraded to business class to keep an eye on me.
Because she was a unaccompanied minor.
So
Ah.
they had to keep an eye on me.
Yeah, but still, right? I mean, it's kind of a scared, you know, you feel scared for both my husband and I. I mean, he didn't look so scared, like I was
He
more
was
scared.
like, my father was like, whatever.
I think guys are, maybe fathers are different, but for me, I was scared, but I didn't show it. And then when she reached KL, my mom-in-law, you know, said, "Oh, she's okay, she's all right, you know." So it's these are the small things that even if we have worry, we need to let them go at one point, you see.
Then
Yes.
like I think when I was a bit older, like especially secondary school, like because I went to Anderson Secondary,
Mhm.
and even though I didn't do so well for PSLE, like I did decently well in secondary school and stuff because I studied by myself this time, so I didn't have tuition for every single subject. Like I remember in primary school, math, science, English, Tamil, like I would have a tuition teacher for it. And in secondary school at Bida, I had like 7 subjects and I studied by myself. And I passed everything except math. But I passed everything else. So
But finally, she did very well for math after all at the end.
after all at the
She
end,
did very well.
I did well for my
Yes,
level. So
yes,
it
yes.
was good. And like throughout like secondary school, I always had that independence because like my mom, I was also older. So when I went out with my friends, I'll be like the mom of the group because like they all are so scared to like do stuff. So I'm always there, like just go and do it. For me, it's like I don't know. For me, it's like just do it yourself. Why can't you just do it? It's so easy. Like,
Yeah, I think that confidence we have given her. So in terms of schoolwork,
Mhm.
I would in fact I taught her how to, okay, so you need to divide your time equally between CCA
yeah,
and scheduling. So whatever planning that I did, I made sure that she's part of that decision making. Like, okay, you know, I'm going to revise. I have a test in 2 weeks' time, so I need to revise 2 weeks before.
yeah,
First, I did a lot of hand holding on helping her do her schedule. Then I realized that within 8-9 months, she's able to plan, and now she's able to plan everything herself, you know, like she would know, okay, I have
like
something on, like a timetable. I
Yeah.
have something on in 3 weeks' time. I need to start pre-planning 20 days ahead.
Yeah,
So you can see that you need to equip them with the knowledge, but after that, you cannot interfere so much.
yeah.
They have to do it themselves. If they need help, they will ask you.
Yeah.
But they have to fall, they have to tumble, they have to figure it out.
Yeah. Like especially I remember when I went to UK for my drama
School, right.
So I went there for a week and I was so scared because like I had to travel around UK by myself for a few hours.
Yeah.
A few hours. So I took the train, the tube and stuff.
All by herself,
All by
All by
myself
herself,
at 15. I was so scared. Like I didn't have that. I had that card with me, so it was good. So I had to just go to a kiosk and like top it up and stuff. So I didn't know how much to top up. So I just like was like maybe $30. So like
So
I
these
just
are
put
things
30
like
pounds
like
inside.
like trial and error
Yeah.
lah, you know,
Mhm.
trial and
I
error.
just put 30 pounds inside, and then after that I just travel by myself, and it's expensive. It's not cheap to travel around UK. So I was like, I took the train to a station, then
Oh, and then
Yeah.
remember, she landed in the Terminal 5 in Heathrow,
yeah,
and then she got a bit worried because in UK the problem is that there's so many terminals.
Yeah.
You need to go to the correct
Correct,
terminal to
yeah.
show your passport. So she called me, and of course I was worried, but I didn't show anything. I said, okay, follow the crowd. Where are the majority people going? Just follow the crowd, right? I
Mm.
mean, that's the best way. If you do not know,
Yeah.
just follow. And finally, she figured it out. She went to the passport counter and did it. Of course, the entire time I was awake.
Yeah.
I was awake. It was midnight in Singapore. I was awake because I was afraid. But I told myself, no, this is the one way that you need to learn how to let go. She will. And she figured out everything by herself.
Yeah, I
By
went
herself.
there, but then they also had to investigate me, so they interrogated me for a few.
Yeah, but because she was going
minutes.
alone, lah. She was going
Yeah,
alone.
then they
Yeah.
asked me so many questions and stuff. But after that, I was fine. But traveling around UK is actually quite scary because like you don't know people there, and you're just scared like people might see your stuff. I was also very scared because like I had to leave my suitcase downstairs, like of the bus.
The double-decker bus, lah. Yeah.
Mhm.
At that time, I took a big bus, so I had to leave it downstairs. And I was scared because like someone might take my bag, and it's not like Singapore where people will just leave your bag and it's like they'll
Yeah,
help you take care of it.
but in UK there's a rule because of the weight issue. You have to
Yeah.
leave the heavy bag down
Downstairs.
and
Mhm.
you go up. But
Yeah.
but not, I mean, nobody will take it
No,
lah. Usually
Like
lah.
nobody took it, so it
Nobody
was
does.
good. And because everyone there is like tourists and stuff, so like it was fine.
This is that that big bus where people used to
company.
travel from
Like travel to places.
one
Yeah.
place of interest. So this was when she was
I was
15. Sec 3,
Yeah.
she had gone to
And then
UK.
Yeah, then that
Nepal?
Then that same year I went to Nepal.
She went to Nepal for a
mission trip.
mission trip to do a voluntary work for 1 week.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I was there and
Alone also.
alone. I was scared for my life because I went to the airport and then I couldn't find my driver. So I quickly called my mom.
It was 2 a.m. in Singapore.
Yeah,
I was
I
still
called-
awake.
I called my mom. I was like, cannot find the driver. So she
Sorry,
really
do
went
you
to-
mind if you come closer to the because I can't really hear you. Yeah.
She said that I couldn't find the driver, so she said, go back to the airport and
It's a third world country,
Yeah.
right? So what happens is that the airports are super crowded.
it's
So
like
it's super
It's
packed.
like
It's packed.
like,
So and this was all
yeah.
before COVID, right?
Yeah.
So anybody and everybody can enter the
Yeah.
airport. So when she called me, I told her, okay, wait, don't panic, walk back into the
Yeah.
airport. He'll be there. And true enough, he
He
was
was
there
there.
lah. He
Once
was
I
there.
went back to the airport, then I saw him come by. Then I knew that he was there. Okay, so then I went back to the hostel and stuff. Then I met a nice doctor. So I made friends with her and stuff. Then I realized during the trip that my phone was not working.
Mhm.
So at that time, I had an iPhone 6s and it was completely not working. Like couldn't make calls and stuff.
Mhm.
Like so, I was scared also because I couldn't call my mom. Like the one person that I needed to talk to was my mom, and I couldn't call her as well. So like then I just like, okay, it's okay. I'm just going to take a flight back to Singapore in a few days, so it's fine. So
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
so
really-
I managed to contact the
the
tour guide that actually arranged, the company that
Yeah.
arranged the entire voluntary trip lah. There are all these companies,
Yeah.
independent companies. So the guy said she's fine,
Mhm.
and that there may also be a either phone issue or satellite network
Yeah.
issue.
and
So
that-
I
and
was
there
okay
like,
lah.
a phone issue and satellite issue because like
Because it's a very rural,
Yeah.
area lah. So imagine as a parent, allowing your 15-year-old to go all the way to a third world country. But it was a very good experience. I think she came back and she mentioned to me that how grateful she was for everything that she has because people there don't have heaters.
Yeah, like
Even
so I didn't bathe for a week. That was like the
Yeah,
funny part. So
it's
I
like one of
didn't
those army places
Yeah.
kind of thing.
bathe- So I didn't
Ah.
bathe for like 1 week, and I had like powder bath myself. Cause
And the temperature was 7 degrees.
it was like negative. One of the days was -1. Because
Yeah.
it was near the
And there's
mountain
no
area.
heater. You
Yeah.
sleep in your jacket. You sleep
So
in
I
your
was
jacket.
like in 7 layers at night because I was so
Mhm.
cold and I wasn't prepared for the cold. So I was in 7 layers because I was so cold.
But she
at night.
never. But she never complained. When she
Yeah,
never
I never
complained.
said anything whole countries, I'm usually fine. So I came back, but I fell ill after that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because she wasn't,
I was not-
she wasn't prepared for such a
Yeah.
we thought that it's an orphanage. It's an orphanage.
Yeah.
So we thought that they would have adequate heating
Yeah.
supplies, but it's not like that.
It's not like that.
It's not like that.
And then after I came back, I realized I was vegetarian for a week as well.
Because
And they don't really provide chicken
because Nepalese are Buddhist, so they eat
Yeah,
vegetarian
they eat
food.
vegetarian
Yes,
food.
they
So-
eat vegetarian.
I didn't realize until I came back that I was actually 1 week vegetarian. Then I was like, oh, I was vegetarian for a
But
week.
the amazing thing is that she never complained that, oh, so terrible.
Yeah.
I think as a teenager, I would have
Actually,
made a lot of fuss.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of fun because everyone there is like so family oriented. They're so together. They can't tell that actually they're parentless.
Yeah, they have no parents, but
Yeah.
these are orphans being
Yeah.
taken care by the state.
They're
By
all
the
like
state.
they're all so nice people. Like you don't feel like that sense of like homesickness there because like everyone there is so nice and the animals just roaming around. Like there's a cat in my room and there's a dog in my room. There's so many animals.
And
in my
remember at the
room.
airport, I was telling her at the airport that, don't, when you go to a place like this, don't expect hot showers and all
Yeah.
that. And then she said, Mom, people have no parents. You're
Yeah.
worried about hot showers?
Yeah, like
So I think another thing is a perspective that these kids have so many benefits, right, and privileges in this country. They must be able to see the other side of life, that there are children who have absolutely nothing.
yeah.
Which was my intention for her to see that, you're so lucky, you have your own room, your aircon, your computer, everything, but people have nothing,
Yeah.
at one point of time,
So actually it's like was kind of nice, but and then I realized that I had to be more independent because like when I go to UK, which I am, I have to learn how to wash my own clothes, which I just learned, and I have to learn how to iron them and like
cook
Cook.
for yourself and all that.
cook is fine.
Yeah.
That's not always a problem because I can make it cook very well, so it's okay. But then the problem that I think I'm going to face is buying the food because like now you must look at proportion size for one person for like a week. Like how much food are you going to need?
That's
And
right.
like I'm a kind of person that I like to eat. Like I like to eat, but I don't eat a lot. So that's the problem. So sometimes I'm really hungry, sometimes I'm not hungry. It really depends on my mood and that day. So it's going to be a tough like situation when I go to
So
UK.
but the first time she settles down, we will go with her
yeah.
and then try to help her to settle down and all that for the first trip.
So like my dad especially, like every time I travel overseas by myself, he's not worried at all. Because, like,
fathers are not worried, only
he's
mothers
like-
are worried.
he's like, I can check you on my phone, it's fine. I know you're fine. Like
Yeah.
just go, it's fine. Because my dad also he went to US when he was very young. So he was like he worked and he studied at the same time. For him was like just do it yourself, it's not a big deal.
And it helps to have it helps that both mother and father bring up the child the
Yeah.
same way, in terms of independence
Like
and all
my
that.
dad also he always tells me fix your own light. So sometimes I will buy the light myself and then
Oh yeah, she can fix all
I
her
can fix my
all
light,
her
my
lighting
fan.
herself, all herself.
Yeah.
She can do it herself.
So like
Yes,
sometimes
and-
if I
Yes, I would
Sorry.
like, and I would like to find out more about, because I think as parents ourselves, sometimes it's very hard to bring up children using the same parenting styles. So probably I can hear
Absolutely.
from me. So how do you find the balance when your parents are really when you talk to your husband? So how do you find the balance?
Okay, so for both of us, I think that he wasn't brought up as independently as I was, I think. But for him, he learned a lot of it when he studied abroad in the US. When he studied, I think he found that being independent was a very important trait. So before we want to make any decisions about her, like, for example, giving her a phone, for example, that's a very independent move, right? To give someone a phone. So we have to discuss that, so I have to convince him, she needs a phone because she needs to keep in touch. And we need to set some ground rules like, no computer games, or you have to put your phone away when you come back. So I think that discussion has to be, the problem is we both come from different backgrounds. So we need to come to a compromise. I think I am a little bit more gung-ho than him. But over the years, he has changed because he realizes that the way I have been brought up, he realizes that there's some benefit to being independent. And I told him that, when you're an only child, or it doesn't matter even if you have siblings, everyone needs to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. And for her, I think we already had planned to send her away from a very young age. We already planned to send her abroad to study. So
Mhm.
I use that as the main point, that this is the end goal, that you need her to be independent. One day she may not even live in Singapore, she may live abroad forever, right? So
Mhm.
we need to make sure that we craft our parenting style based on that destination, that she needs to be independent. She must be able to walk into a bank, open up her own bank account. She must be able to talk to the manager there. She must be able to order food, buy things, plan her life. Yes, there will be mistakes, many mistakes, but that's how you learn. You see? So I think I had to convince him, because for him it's about, especially when she's younger, like do it for her. It's just faster,
Yeah.
but more that, no, it's okay if it takes 3 times the time, but let her do it herself.
Let me do it.
Let her
Yeah.
do it herself. You see?
Which was also good in a way, because then I learned like
Yeah,
how to
a lot of things she has
Yeah.
learned on her own because of that. You
like
know.
I learned especially like when I was in Melbourne for a
Ah,
trip for
Also,
school
Mhm.
stuff or something.
yep, exchange
Okay.
So
program.
I was there, then I had to wash my own clothes because like I had to use the same shirt every single day. So I had to
Mhm.
wash it. So my roommate and I were like, wait, how do you use a washing machine?
How do you use a washing machine?
Yeah.
Even
So
that they don't know.
like because the dryer and the washer in Australia is like a dryer and washer. So there's a button for the dryer and there's a button for the washer. We were so smart. We pressed the button for the dryer instead of the washer, and then we were like, okay, let's throw it in the washer instead, and press the dryer button. So we were, both of us were like, why is it not moving? Like we put the powder and put this thing inside, why is it not moving at all? And after that we realized that, oh, because we pressed the dryer instead of the washer.
Yeah, you see, but these are that's why we told her that these are all
Yeah.
learning processes. I mean, we also have made mistakes, you see. So we told her that this is how you learn, trial and error. Everything is not perfect the first time, you see.
But then like after that I realized that washing machines are actually useful, because like now because for me personally I also dance, so like washing my own saris and stuff like dance saris, I have to
So
wash
she
it
does
by
it herself,
myself.
lah. So
Yeah.
we don't tell the helper to do it, and we tell her
I'm
to
also
do
a
it.
bit scared to ask my helper to do it, because I'm scared she might ruin my sari, and it's like very precious to me, because like
So she does it
Yeah.
herself. She irons it herself.
Yeah.
Everything she does it
So-
herself, which is good.
like now after like learning, going for these classes and like dance and stuff, like I've learned like my own responsibility to like
Take
Mm.
care of take care of your own
myself,
stuff and all
yeah.
that. Yes.
Like even sometimes nowadays I clean my own room, I don't ask my helper to do it, because like
Yeah.
I
So
must
we
learn
we
how to
we
do it.
always tell her, oh, you're gonna live on your own. You better know how to do all this
Yeah.
stuff yourself.
But I always tell my mom like I know how to do it, because I think
Yeah. She's. I mean, no
Yeah.
problem for her. She has. I mean, over the years,
for
she has figured it out, lah. You know, she has
Yeah.
figured it out. Yeah.
even like cooking also, like I can cook by myself, I can make chicken curry and stuff. It's not that
Yeah. She
like-
can take care of herself. So
Yeah.
we are not worried, lah. You know, we are not worried, lah.
even
You know?
like when I was also going for tuition, like when I came over, like I knew how to take the 265 bus, because like
Yeah, she was
I
coming
lived-
to your center
Yeah.
by herself.
by myself. So
Yes,
by
I
herself.
remember.
Yeah, I knew how to take the bus, because one thing good was that it was near my aunt's house, and I knew how to go to my aunt's house, and I knew the center was near her house, or just downstairs. So
Mhm.
I knew that like that connection in my head, that oh, I have to take the same bus to go to the same place.
And we told her, if you think that there's another alternative way, you can go
Yeah.
and search on the internet and
Yeah.
figure it out yourself.
But then there was no alternative way.
Yeah,
So,
because
like,
there's only one bus there.
yeah.
But if there are other places she wants to go to, she will always Google it and
Yeah.
figure it out, you know, how to reach there faster, or
Yeah.
all this is things where you cannot handhold every process. lah.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
then my mom also told me like if I had any issues with tuition and stuff, or was feeling tired or was sick that day, like during class, I can go over to my aunt's house to like rest and stuff.
Mhm.
So and also it's also good because I was in Anderson, and she also lived there nearby. to
Oh,
Anderson.
your center
Yeah.
was nearby
So
there.
any issue, I know that people are nearby to where I study, and my house was like 20 minutes away by walking, which was also good because my bus is super long from
Mhm.
Anderson. So I learned over the years, over 4 years in Anderson, to like be more
responsible and
because,
independent. lah.
like
Yeah.
my friends and I, we always walk back home because like we found that it's faster. So like over the years, you realize new routes, and like you meet new people that help you along the way. Like I made a very good friend in Anderson that I'll always cherish, because
Mhm.
she helped me in my homework, and she was like, she was much smarter than me, yes, because like her academics was very good. She studied really, really, really hard. She studied harder than me actually, but then her end results was not comparatively to me. She was not as like she didn't do as well to what I expected because she had tuition. She studied super hard. I didn't have tuition until at like few months only. She had tuition all the way since Sec 1. And she didn't do as well as I thought. So like
So that's why I always tell
Yeah.
Harini, sometimes it is
the
tuition can help you, but you
But
need to help
yeah.
yourself also, you know. You need to
yeah,
make sure that you guide yourself, and the tuition teacher cannot do miracles.
Yeah, that's
they only
true.
can enrich your learning journey, you
like
see.
when I was in LOB also, like every time I'll bring my own books and then you tell me, oh, do your own stuff. So like every time I ask you for help also, it's like
There
you
must
will-
be guidance, but the
Yeah.
child must put in their own effort,
like
lah,
you
you
will
know.
always tell us to do it ourselves, and then
Mhm.
if I don't know anything, I'll ask you.
Correct. That
And
kind of
yeah.
that independence is very important.
Then
lah.
I also had friends also that would always help me and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. So for the past half an hour, and I keep on hearing these keywords like figure it by yourself, do it by
Yeah.
yourself. Yes. So for Harini, when you talk about your journey since you were a younger girl, and of course you also have friends, right, who probably who have parents with different parenting styles.
Yeah,
So when you
of course.
compare both and look back at your own life, so how was it for you? As in, how do you really feel when you realize that actually your mommy and your daddy parents you in a different way?
Oh, for me it was like an eye opener because like all my cousins are also quite independent.
Mhm.
Like compared to me, they're not as independent,
Yeah,
but they're
not-
quite
Yeah,
quite
not as independent
yeah,
as you
not
lah.
as independent as me.
Okay,
They
go
are
on.
quite independent in a sense. So I realized that parents in Singapore, I thought maybe like I was not normal, or I was normal like 9 years old taking the bus by myself. I thought it was normal, but then I realized that at 9 years old, no one takes the bus by themselves. The parents actually fetch them from school and bring them back home, holding their hand, carrying their bag for them. And I realized, like, I was like, huh, really? Like, my friends, like, all of them, most of them grew up in a very conservative house.
Yeah.
Because all of them are Indians and they grew up, like, in a very, like, seclusive,
No,
and, like,
traditional conservative
Yeah,
homes,
very,
you know. Yeah,
overprotective.
overprotective.
Especially like my best friend, her mom is like she's always on her back and call like
And
on her phone.
checking her GPS
Yeah.
location.
So sometimes if I go out with her, the mom will call me. It's like, is she with you? I'm like, yes, auntie, she's with me. Don't you worry. Like sometimes if she wants to also go out, like with her friends, her mom wouldn't allow her because like the mom doesn't know her friends. So then she'll ask me permission, like, oh, can I tell I'm going out with you, but actually I'm going out with my friends. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm at home, sitting at home, lying down, and she's out with her friends. Then
But
the mom will
so
like,
this is where the trust issue comes in, because sometimes being overprotective has its negative impact, you know. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like some of my friends they are super like scared to do stuff. Like when I see them outside, they're like, when I want to order food also.
Oh yeah, they
Oh
can't.
my god! Like I asked them to order for me like some. I think I went to Jack Place or something, and then I asked them to order chicken, fish and chips for me or something. And then I asked them, then they came back with the wrong order. So I asked them to order fish and chips, not chicken.
But you can see they are visibly actually they are scared
Mhm.
to do some things, you know.
Yeah.
And they are, I think at that time, like maybe 14, 15 years
14,
old.
yeah.
14, 15.
Yeah, 14, 15 already, I started going out with my friends. And my mom will always ask me, why don't you go out with your friends? I'm like, I just don't like to go out with my friends. Like, I don't have that feeling that I need to go out
I
with
think
my
no,
friends.
and sometimes some of the friends, because as you said lah, different parents have different parenting
Yeah.
style. They are so overprotective that the minute you're out of school, you have to be home.
Yeah.
There's no hanging out with your
Mhm.
friends, and you know,
My mom was like, you want to go out with your friends?
that's
Just go out
fine.
with
You
your
know,
friends.
that's okay. You
Fine.
see, yeah,
Just call and tell us that you're going out.
that you're going
Yeah.
out. You see,
Because like lunch is prepared at home, so my auntie
Mhm.
will always expect me to come back home and eat lunch.
Mhm.
But then if I go out with my friends for lunch, I'll just tell her, oh, I'm eating outside or something. So
I think there must be some level of trust. You know, you
Yeah.
need to give some level. So for me, very importantly, I got to know her friends. Like I
Mhm.
brought them out for lunch once in a while,
Yeah.
so I know who her close friends are, and you
Mm.
know that you have already sized them up. And then when she says, oh, I'm going out with this person, so I know who she's with. And one thing about her, she will never off her GPS. Her GPS location on her phone is always on.
Like, I don't realize it. Okay?
I mean, it's on, but the thing is, I will know where she is. The important thing is there's nothing to hide because you have already told us where you are. Whereas with her friends, they would actually not tell their parents where they're going.
Like, they'll just tell their parents that
I'm going,
your house,
but actually they're not. And
this
this is where the problem is with trust, is because the parents are overprotective, you see. Which is, I mean, I understand their point. They're scared they may go with the wrong company and talk with the wrong people, but there must be a level of trust. So I think for parents, very important is to get to know your child's circle of friends.
Like,
very important.
Even the other time, like, because I have two of my best friends are guys, and I always tell my mom about them. So like my mom told me, oh, why not bring them out for lunch?
I mean, because you're in a mixed school, you have to deal with boys and girls, right? So all of them, basically boys, girls, anyone in her class, if they're like, let's say I give them a lift to the bus stop or to the MRT or bring them out for lunch, I make sure I know who her circle of friends are, so that they also know who I am. And the important thing is the trust. The important thing is the trust. And you cannot have the trust without being a little bit more independent, because you cannot say, oh, I don't allow you to go anywhere, which is what the whole problem with parents are. You know, then the child will find all sorts of ways to go around your rules.
Like every time, like I generally go out with my cousin a lot because we're around the
Same age.
So I go out with her a lot, and I always tell my mom, oh, I'm just going to her house. My mom said,
that's fine. And anytime we need to check where she is to fetch her, we can see she's exactly where she said she's going to be. She's never abused our trust. Let's put it that way. She's never abused our trust.
And there are two things that I want to ask, because it really got me curious. One is, so when your mommy said that, oh, so I want to meet your two guy friends and let's head for lunch. So what was going through your head? And the other question that I will have is, when your mommy said, okay, when your mommy first mentioned that she's going to on a GPS in your phone, because I think I hear from other parents that their children do not know that the GPS was on in their phone. Yeah, so
sometimes I'm just like, okay, like I'm at that
nothing
level
to hide.
Nothing to hide also. Like for me, it's like, okay, like nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide. Oh, you mean there are some parents who put the GPS tracker on the phone and the child doesn't know?
I hear before, because I think for
there
phones,
is such thing. There is such a thing.
Yes, because I think for the phones, most have Find My Phone.
That's what we use. Find Our Phone.
Yes.
And Find Your Phone is you can't work around it unless you off it. You see, if you don't touch your phone, it is always there. I think the issue would be that if parents, okay, so I will give you an example of my colleague. My colleague has a Sec 3 15-year-old child, and they have this app on the phone where they can track every single movement she does on her computer. So it's called Quandro or something. Okay. So what happened? So I feel that this is all unnecessary. If you have brought up your child well and your child knows the difference between wrong and right, there's no necessity to do all this. So sometimes there's a lot of friction between the parent and the child because of this issue. So that the parent will be at 1:45 p.m. Were you on YouTube? Why does it matter? I mean, if your child roughly knows what are the goals that need to be achieved on that day, it doesn't matter how they plan their time, as long as the goals are met. I mean, this is a 15-year-old kid, I mean, she's going to be 16 soon, and they're still keeping track of her every movement on the computer. A bit too much of control.
This kind of kids, I'm telling, like, from experience, they have boyfriends.
And no, they would go way out loud. So this girl has done things that she has stolen money from her parents. She has.
I want to hear more from our girl, because and I heard something about a boy girl relationship.
So because generally, like people that I've met, friends that I have, parents are overprotective. Generally, they are very like, how do I say? Like they're very they don't tell their parents a lot of stuff. Like they don't tell their parents when they're in a relationship and stuff. Like I know of friends.
We know tons of people.
I know friends that the parents are super, super, super protective, and then they have boyfriends. So when they say, "Oh, I'm just going out with a friend," it's like, "Who's this friend?" Like they ask so many questions. Then ask for the number. Then ask for like
Photo evidence.
photo evidence, like where they live, who's their parents. I'm like,
Like a
why do you
CSI
bother to-
report.
CSI report.
yeah.
And the children know how to supersede.
manipulate,
So
yeah.
like somebody we know left the phone in the house under the bed and went
Yeah.
out. So when the parents check, when the parent is in the office, the parent checks, oh, the
He's at
child is in the
home.
house.
He's at
Yeah,
home.
but actually she's outside with her boyfriend.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So it's children, like what you said about Zoom, right? Children know how to manipulate this
Yeah.
technology to
Every-
their benefit.
all my
Absolutely.
all my classmates, I know, like literally everyone in my class, everyone is in a relationship except for me, because I didn't feel like the need to like.
Because
tell
we're
my
such
parents-
good parents, she
Yeah.
doesn't need to have anyone else,
Okay,
no?
for me, like, I didn't feel the need to like everyone.
No,
in
yeah,
class
yeah.
was, like, to me was like they're dumb.
No,
And, like-
but remember, there are classmates of hers who are very goody two-shoes outside,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
you don't know the things they do behind their
Yeah,
parents'
like
back
my-
because
My mom met one of my friends.
Ah.
When she gave the impression to my mom, she was like super nice, super like super
Yeah.
nice and like super good to talk to and like have a relationship with. Like she felt that I was good for her and she was good for me. But then when she got to know her more and like she brought her out more, she realized that she was not like
yeah. So
what
this
she
particular girl, because her mom is very overprotective, she will find ways to go around the
Yeah.
situation, and the parents would never figure out what is going on with this
Yeah.
child. She has a boyfriend outside.
Yeah.
She's doing all sorts of things outside, but because the lines of communication have been broken, because every time she brings up an issue, the parents, no, cannot.
yeah,
No, cannot. Haven't even gone to the second sentence yet, and no, cannot.
Like
cannot.
before she says she can go out, the parents like cannot.
Or like prom night, can I stay a bit later? No, cannot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cannot.
Mm.
Everything is before she can even open up the
Like,
subject.
Okay.
It's a no. So why
Yeah.
bother asking? Because I know the answer already,
Yeah.
right? So there needs to be, I think in today's time, when we know that children can manipulate their way around, we must be smarter than them.
The technology now is like
It's too good to be.
good
It's
to be,
too.
yeah.
It's too good
Like
already.
parents have to be
Better than the technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom is more tech savvy than me.
Yeah, I have to be.
Yeah, because like I may know how to manipulate her, but she may know how to manipulate me.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't know how to manipulate her because no one knows how to do that. Like no one has figured it out
Yet.
So like
No, and for me, it's more like she is very open about it. She would ask permission, like, okay, like that day she wanted to go out with her friends. Okay, I'm going out with my friends. I'll be here. I'm going here. I'm
Yeah.
buying this, and then I'll be home by 10 p.m. or 9 p.m.
usually
And
like,
she would always be back before the time she says she's back. So
Yeah.
to me, is you have established a trust,
yeah.
and if you follow that, no problem. But if you break it, then too bad for
Yeah,
you.
like sometimes after like my training and stuff, like my classes, I will go out with my friends for dinner or something.
Yeah, no
Then
problem.
I'll just tell my mom, she's like, okay, sure. Just
Yeah,
be back
as
by-
long as I know
Yeah.
that where she is, and there's always find your phone, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
So sometimes like after training especially, like I'll be super tired, so I'll go out with my friends. We'll have a drink or something. She'll be like, okay, sure, no problem. Just
Yeah.
come back.
and I know, and the thing is that very important is to know your child's friends and the circle of
Yeah.
people she's with. I think that one is very
Like
important.
some of my friends, they associate with those kind of bad people, but
Mhm.
really they're actually very good people. It's just wrong time, wrong place, and wrong people.
Yeah, so you need to make sure that your
Yeah.
child is with the correct group of people, that you know who they are, and they're not going to influence them in a bad way, you know.
Yeah. Like some of my friends, they have been influenced by other people.
This is the
like,
Aikido. You're talking about Aikido. people.
No,
School
like
people,
my
people.
school friends, especially like because I'm in NA. So like in NA, you have all these people like smoking, drinking. You always have this problem. Like even in Anderson, you have this issue.
Mhm.
Like you have these people drinking, smoking.
And you can't protect your child
Yeah.
away from these truths. I mean, people smoke, people drink, people do all sorts of
Okay,
things.
sure, no
But
problem.
what you can do is tell them
Yeah.
the ill effects of these things, right?
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Personally, I know because
Yeah,
in my family, people also
People
smoke,
smoke, drink,
and
yeah.
we know like what the health condition like. So it's
So
not that good.
all we can do as a parent is present both
Yeah.
sides of the story, and
Mhm.
the decision has to be made by the child.
Yeah.
Correct? You can present the benefits and the downside and the
Yeah.
risks. And
So,
then if you're smart
yeah.
enough, you will know what is right and what is wrong.
like some of my friends, like they they were very good people, and then after that they went into the wrong influence and then started smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
Then they got tattoos and stuff.
But in
Like,
secondary school, this is common in Singapore, lah.
Yeah.
It's common,
Like
you know.
I know in school, like, because in Singapore it's legal, they don't have an age limit for tattoos. So people can like get tattoos at a very young age with the parents' consent. So like some of my friends, like seniors especially, I know they have tattoos, like they cover up with their uniform and stuff, like body tattoos and like
so when
like,
she told me about the tattoo, so I explained to her that when you look for a job when you're older, one of the questions they ask you in your job interview is, do you have a tattoo? I'm not sure whether you came across this, but I came across it when I was interviewed. One of my first few interviews when I came back from studying was they actually asked me, it was such a dumb question. I was a position in a lab. Why does it matter if I have a tattoo? But I realized that in Singapore, people have this impression that if you have a tattoo, you're a bad person. You're in a gang. So one of the questions in the questionnaire is, do you have a tattoo? And I was like, okay, I don't, but why is that a question? Then I told her, see, it can be taken in a negative connotation if you have a tattoo. So be very careful. It could be a tattoo of a unicorn. But the point is, people may have a wrong impression. So be very careful what you do, piercings and things like that. You know, it could give the wrong impression.
But now Singapore has come to a better state.
A better state. Now they're not so bad.
People are more accepting that
people have tattoos
and stuff. And tattoos necessarily cannot.
I mean, you can have a unicorn tattoo,
but
you
can have like a flower on your arm. Correct. It doesn't mean that you're gang associated.
Correct. But unfortunately, in the civil service, it's a big deal,
I personally want to join the civil service.
So I told her, if you want to join the army or the navy, you can't have a tattoo.
Yeah, like I want to join the navy or the SPF. So like, definitely I can't have a tattoo or like do any of these like other things that are so-called gang related. So like even like drinking also, like
I think like in secondary school is very common in Singapore.
Very common in Singapore. And personally, it's fine if you know what's going on.
And your age.
So if you're 18 and above, it's fine. You know what's going on and you know that you can trust people around you.
Yeah.
And like,
so I've also told her stories where people have, like if you're drinking in a bar, somebody can spike your drink. This has happened in Singapore. Can spike your drink. They can do anything to you when you're not conscious. So all these ideas have been mooted in her head, things that can go wrong.
Like I know of people that have been like unconscious because they just drank one drink.
Yeah, because the drinks have been spiked.
And I know of people like my friends especially, they have been in clubs because they have like fake ID and stuff and they can trick people. They are very smart people actually. Like
so the important thing is to not to hide these facts from your child, is to tell them the truth about both sides of the story. And at the end of it, the decision is theirs. So my dad always will tell me, I remember when I went to the US, I said, so what degree do you think I should do, Dad? He said, I think I have brought you up well enough. You can decide anything you want and I'm sure you will find what is the best for you. I can only bring you up the correct way, but I cannot teach you every single thing to be done. Then after that, it has to be in your hands.
Wonderful.
So which is good. I think that part is, you must trust your child that your upbringing is so solid that they're not going to make silly mistakes,
Even like when I was choosing my course to do in UK, my mom told me, you decide what you want to do in the future, then you decide your course that you want to take. So I was thinking, okay, I want to work in the Navy, and I cannot be doing like something like sciences and go work in the Navy. You can, but it's not really related. So I was thinking, okay, let's think about like what I like and stuff. So I really like social studies and geography. Like those are my two favorite subjects.
But still maths, you did the best.
Yeah, still I did the best for maths.
Which is so weird.
And I did the worst for humanities. I like.
So weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So but I want to do social sciences. I am doing social sciences in like my foundation now. And I'm planning to do political science or poli science in uni. Because I think that will benefit me like in the long run.
International relations.
That's
what it's called,
or either international relations, social sciences, or policy. Either one, like I can apply and get one of it. Because for me, after this election stuff and everything,
She's interested in politics.
I was interested in politics and stuff because like I was looking at like how like the government
shapes policies and
stuff, and I realized it's not benefiting Singaporeans. So I would want to change that in the future.
So they're our future MP.
So like I was just telling my dad like
for Ang Mo Kio.
I was telling my dad like they're not the policies
Yeah.
they make in Singapore.
So
it's not valid like
for the benefit of the people.
Yeah.
So
I need a voice.
although my husband and I both did sciences in university, we have no issue that she should follow our footsteps lah. You know, you should do what you're interested in.
Asked me, like all my parents, all my friends ask me, why don't you follow your mom? Like she's doing science, she's so smart and stuff. Then I'm like, that doesn't matter what. I can have a degree in
something else, yeah.
And, like, I can
so
be smart. Right?
So for me, I feel that a tertiary education is not really about what you really study. Yeah. It's more about broadening your mind and perspectives and things like that. So it doesn't matter what you study.
I found what I liked when I was in secondary school because like I had more subjects to learn and stuff like geography, history. I know history was not for me, history and literature, because like, oh my god, the amount of stuff I had to do for history. And,
that's why she definitely is more of a humans person. She likes to interpret things. So I think for her, that kind of feel is better than the hard math and the hard sciences. I think it's
like hard, like math and science, like really analytical. Like have to analyze like your steps. And there's only one right answer.
That's right, but not in the not in the humanities lah.
So many answers that
possible. That's right.
So like it was.
It's definitely suitable for her lah. Okay.
Wonderful, yes, and I think I have heard a lot of the things done by mommy in your growing up years, because I think mommy actually lay out all the plans for you and also very parents you in a very intentional way. Yeah, so we have come to almost the end. I want to hear from you, what are the 3 best things that you feel mommy did for you in your growing up years?
Making me independent. Letting me have the freedom to go out with my friends and letting me choose what I want to do in life, my own life in the future. Yeah, it's not only my mom but also like my entire like household, because
like family members.
Because I live with my grandma also, so she also like came into this consideration. Like she will tell me like advice and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and sounds like you have very strong family support as well. What about for mommy? So now I was wanted to ask you, what are 3 best things that Harini had did for you ever while she was growing up?
What she has done for me?
What are the 3 best things that you felt she has done for you that you still remember and it touches your heart?
Okay, I think that, compared to me, she's a very compassionate child lah. Okay, so let me give you an example. Like maybe I think she was like primary 1, primary 2, and that particular day I couldn't go to school because I was very ill and I was on MC. And of course everybody in the house is how are you? But she took the trouble. She was only primary 1 or 2, and that time you have to use the public phone. In school, no handphone that time. So she used public phone, the coin one that they have in Mayflower. She actually called and asked me, so mom, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling better? And she knows that I like this particular fishball soup from the shop, the Chinese fishball soup, right? So she's like, when I'm coming back home, shall I ask auntie and me, shall we both buy it for you? This is only 7 years old. I mean, I think that kind of compassion, you don't really see it in a very young child. And okay, so other things would be, okay, so when she's traveling, right, she would always, whatever little resources she has, money she has, she will always think about me and my husband first before she thinks about herself. It would be, what would mom like, rather than spend the money on herself, is what would mom and dad like. And so this is something which is very different from children who are from an only child family. Because she's an only child, so generally they tend to be very selfish, right? But she's not at all. And I would say the third thing would be, very recently, probably last year, again, when I wasn't feeling well, she had brought me to the 24-hour clinic near your center. Your center, there's a 24-hour clinic. She brought me there. I was very, very ill. She literally, I mean, like she's bigger and taller than me. She literally had to carry me from the car to the clinic. And then when she came back home, she's so nice. She's like a nurse. She took out all the medicine. I was so ill. It was a very bad stomach flu. She took out, and she was even joking with the doctor. What happened? The doctor took my pressure, and because I was feeling very anxious, my pressure was very high. It went to 150. And then she said jokingly, "That is not her pressure, doctor. That's her height. That's not her pressure." And then later we were all laughing, and the pressure went down to 110 again. Thank God. Yeah, she's so funny. She just so calm, right? She said, "No, that's her height. That's not her pressure." She came back home, took out all the medicine. She made me rest. She took everything. She brought the Milo, everything to the room, gave it to me. And after 8 hours, I was still sleeping. She woke me up. And then I told myself, now I know why I have children, right? Like, somebody's going to take care of you.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
I told my mom that when I'm older,
But come closer, I cannot hear you.
like when I'm older and stuff, like I wouldn't be able to take care.
I mean, you're not here, but it's okay. But the point is, she has the heart for it. That's the point.
Yes, probably we can hear from her because I want to hear more from her. So what was going through your mind when you're
about the doctor?
No, it's not looking after your mommy so well.
For me, it's like a second nature because I do a lot of social work as well, like with elderly and stuff. So for me, it's like I just felt like, okay, it's just another person.
She's a caring person by nature, even with her cousins, her younger, my friends' children are much younger. She's always very nice to them, very doting. You should see all my friends' children. Oh my goodness, they love her. The minute I go for a party without her, they're like, "Where's Harini?" Nobody wants to talk to me. They want to see her. It's so funny. Recently, we went for a party once. I saw my friend's son, small boy, he's about 7 years old. He ran towards me. I thought he was running towards to hug me. He was running towards her to hug her. It was so funny. It was like a movie. He ran past me and then he went.
Yes. Please go on. Oh, cannot hear you, yeah?
Usually, like when I go out and stuff, like for family events, like I'm the one taking care of all the kids because I'm much older to everyone. Because my mom gave birth to me when I was much younger, and my mom is much older than everybody.
Oh, this
like
is great.
she's generally she's much older. So, and her friends don't really have kids. Most of them don't have kids.
Kids are small.
Their kids are all smaller than me. They're like 5, 6. I'm the only one who said I'm 17 and they're like 5. So like imagine the age difference.
Wonderful.
So like all my cousins, they're all much younger to me. And my own cousin, sister, who I'm very, very close to, she's the same age as me. She's not as caring. Like she's the kind of person like she wants, like she does everything not for herself, but she doesn't like it.
Most typical teenagers are like that. That's why she's a bit unique in that sense, So
like my friends find it very funny. Like I like kids and I like stuffed toys. I like all these childish.
She would bring the kids. I mean, she would play with them, and so these kids were like from the age of 4 all the way to like 12. They all like her very much. So that caring nature is quite obvious,
And I'm much closer to them as well. So like, especially like my guy friends always make fun like, "Oh, you're so like motherly and stuff." Like,
I think that's the
such
word,
a mother.
Motherly,
You're such a mother. It's so funny. Like every time when I go out with my guy friends as well, they're like, I'm always doing stuff for them. Like I'm taking tissue. I'm like, oh, passing you this, passing you that, buying you this, like making sure you're okay. Like even when they're sick, I'll call them and ask them like, "Are you okay?" Like
she's always that kind of person. If her friends are sick, maybe I should send them some food or send them a drink, make them feel better. The nature is inherent. It's inherent. Nature.
Yes, it's so wonderful, and I really hope that you continue to be like that. And I really look forward to you doing very well in your life. What I'm saying is you are already doing very well, and I'm sure you will do much better with all this attitude and the character that you have. So back to mommy, I want to ask one question because we have come almost to the end. Yeah.
No problem.
Yes. Yeah. Because and I know that you still have things going on later on, and you actually find time to squeeze out just for this session.
No problem.
For being so kind. Yeah. Okay. So I know that and your parenting style is very unique, and yes, we have seen your girl grown up to be a young and confident lady. Yeah, someone who I feel very proud of. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And what would be one tip that you want to give to parents that hey, they can start off today to work towards bringing up a young and confident teenager?
Okay, I think the first thing and probably the most basic thing they can do is let their child do things for themselves. So something would be as simple as, for example, if it's a young child, like a primary 5 or primary 4 child, like involve them in their planning of their schedule. So, children nowadays, okay, so they're having their weighted assessments and their finals coming up soon, the end of year exams, SATs and all that coming. Parents like to do all the planning and the child just has to follow it. It's more like, okay, why don't you sit with me and tell me, okay, maybe from 5 to 6 o'clock you need a rest. So the decision on how to study, how to plan your time has to be twofold, both the parent and the child. When the child has a hand in making the decision, the child will probably follow that routine better than if the parent did it themselves. So I think that way, and sooner or later when you start involving your child in these decision-making processes, sooner or later you realize your child can do it themselves already. In a matter of time, in a matter of 1 year, you will see your child is able to come up, because planning is something which is a skill not only for studying, it's a skill for the rest of your life. You need to plan your entire life. It's not about academics alone, So you first need to teach your child, okay, why don't you put your input in? Let's plan a schedule. If a child says, oh, I want to play computer game for 2 hours, of course the parent has to say, no, that's not possible, but maybe, okay, 30 minutes, 20 minutes is fine, but you got to play for 20 minutes, you need to have an incentive. So what have you done before that for you to deserve 20 minutes? And involve the child in all these decision-making processes, so the child feels that they have some ownership to what they have decided, and the child will probably follow at least 80% of the plan, instead of the parent doing it themselves and say, just follow me because I said so, which doesn't work nowadays.
Yes, and it always backfire then.
Absolutely, because that method of I am right and you are wrong method works in the 50s and 60s. It doesn't work these days. So
now it's like more the child is more controlling also.
Exactly.
And now I also want to hear from Harini. What would be one tip that coming from you as a young person, what do you think that from experience of mixing around with other teenagers, your peers, what would be one tip that you would like to give to the parents like myself?
Just to be like, you have to trust your child. Very important is trust. Like even in like a relationship, you have to trust your companion, partner. It's the same way. Like you have to trust the person. Like my mom trusts me, I trust her. Like even when I go out and stuff, like sometimes I give her like stuff for my, like I bake stuff for her, and I trust her that she will like it. Like I know that she's not going to like say bad things about it.
And I will give her constructive feedback.
She has never given me constructive feedback because she has like all my food.
Because it's so good, no need to
so basically just trust. Like you need that trust in your child as well. Like you have to tell them
trust
like
is a two-way word.
You have to tell them your ground rules and they must like
follow it.
And they must like, you must compromise if they ask like this or that, compromise with them.
Give and take.
Like you have to give and take also. They are also very small. Like we are also quite young to like, we are naive also. So you must like let us do it ourselves and like.
And if there's trust, I realize that then they're more open.
They will like
tell
you
stuff
about
their friends, and somehow some information will come out little by little,
Like secretive information that like
you think that the child, you want the child to approach you first and not the friends for wrong advice.
Like I have some friends, the parents are very like friendly with them, so they tell them like,
secret,
even if they're like boyfriend or girlfriend relationship, that they will tell the parents.
And the parents mustn't be judgmental. So it's about trust and good advice.
The parents have to be also like, you have to understand where they are coming from. Like my mom, because she works with teenagers and stuff, so, like she knows.
So
like,
I know how crazy teenagers
think. She has met very crazy teenagers, like extremely crazy, like crazier than me. So like she knows that the two extremes, like stuff. Basically
it's all communication.
It's all
communication,
trust and stuff.
Wonderful. So what I get out of it is really the trust, and then to forge a relationship between mother and child. Okay, I want to ask one question, because it's always a question that I ask all the guests, and it's because you know that this is a Facebook group for maths, to teach students to solve maths questions. Okay, so for mommy and daughter, I've never tried asking both at the same time now. So let me try now. Okay, so imagine you and now with the 12 years old getting stressed out, and you know why lah. The big exam is coming.
PSLE.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me now invite you to walk down the memory lane
Okay.
and going to your younger self. So for Magesh, as you walk down, you saw the 12-year-old Magesh looking at you, and you got so close to her that you can almost touch her. Yeah. So what will you say to her? And Harini as well. I know yet now you're 17 or 16, 17.
I'm 17. Yeah,
17,
17.
Oh my god, when I first saw you, you're only 12 or 11, yeah. So
11.
for you, you walk back 6 years, five years, and you saw the 12 years old Harini. What will you tell her? So let's hear from mommy first.
Okay, for me, I would say that, no need to get stressed out of PSLE. It is a very, very small part of a very, very long process in life. It is at that point of time, it may be scary, but just do your best, and whatever the result, as long as you've tried your best, you should be happy with the results.
For me, it's just to tell, like, I would tell myself, no need to worry about the results, because even though if you don't do well, you're better now, because I am in a better place. I'm smarter now, especially. I've learned a lot of stuff over the years, and always trust yourself, because you know yourself better than anyone else. Yeah.
Wow, and I keep on hearing that the trust is actually a nice word to wrap up the whole session. Trust, and when you have trust, the relationship between mother and child will definitely be closer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, yep.
Yes. Anything else to add before we wrap up? Yeah, because it's such a lovely session, and it always warms my heart to hear mother and child sharing their journey, and yes, it highs and lows as well. Yeah, but we all stay strong for our little girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing else. I mean, I think we have covered everything, and I think that for parents who are stressing themselves out, I guess the only thing you can do is support your child and don't let them burn out before the actual exam. I think the journey of education is a marathon, so you cannot make them hate studying and hate exams, because this is not the first. This is the first major exam, but there are so many more exams in secondary school, JC, university, and everything. It should be about not the results, but the effort that you put in. Sometimes some people are not very good at taking exams. They're just not exam savvy. But it's the ultimate whether you have worked hard, because you will be rewarded for your hard work. Sometimes, even though if your grades don't speak volumes, your hard work can be seen.
Because for me personally, I didn't do very well for exams and stuff. So like the hard work was always my reward, because like
we can see personally how hard a person is working. No point if you work very. Some people are so smart they don't need to work very hard. That's not the point.
Yeah,
it is about working hard, because in the real working world, your boss is not going to see how many marks you got. But the output of your end result of your project or whatever.
You get a promotion based on your hard work and your
not your academic score. So yes, PSL is important to get into a good school, but that is just one tiny step towards a lot of bigger things.
And even if you don't do well, like you get 100 something, it's still okay. It's fine.
I mean, a journey like hers, very true, that who went and she was in a position to choose an express stream. I chose the slower stream for her, so that she can take it at her own pace, and which worked out very well for her, because finally she has done well. It has given her the confidence,
Wonderful. All right, so thanks, Mommy, for your time. It's
no
really
problem.
lovely,
Most
and
welcome.
it's always
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
It's always a pleasant experience to speak to Mommy, as well as to hear from Harini as well. And now I got to know about your journey, and I can steal some tips to parents my own girls.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity.
Okay, please don't go off first. I will stop the live stream. So parents, will see you around, and hope that you can benefit from this, because I think our journey is long, and so it's really helpful if you can just learn from the parents around us who have already walked your journey. Okay, so we'll see you around. Take care and bye-bye. Okay, Mommy and Gaga, don't go off first, huh? All right.